What's happening, everybody? Frank Kern here. In today's video, I'm going to share with you what might very well be the perfect framework for an ad, specifically a video ad. And before we begin, I want to address some controversy. That's right. For the past couple of videos, I've been talking about how this whole terror around iOS 14 point whatever and the potential loss of tracking is overblown. And I've gotten a little heat from it because I've given you some examples where I didn't use any targeting at all whatsoever, and the campaigns still worked. And I just wanted to take a minute to say I'm not even remotely sorry for taking that stance, and here's why. All right, it happened again, and this is kind of a funny story, actually. So check this out. All right, so I like to follow this dude on YouTube. This guy's name is Kyle Sullerud, and he is awesome for many reasons, including but not limited to the fact that he has a flamethrower in his YouTube intros, and he created this app called VidHoarder. All right, and so VidHoarder is pretty sweet in the sense that it allows you to do something called placement targeting with YouTube ads pretty easily. So placement targeting means you find YouTube ads that are being watched by people that you want to sell stuff to. Like, for example, if you're selling gardening stuff, it would make a pretty good logical assumption that you would want your gardening stuff to be featured, as an ad in a video about gardening. So that's what placement ads are. Okay, so it was Saturday night on the 10th of April. Everybody was asleep. I was still up. I couldn't go to sleep. I was like, you know what, man? I'm gonna go get VidHoarder, and I'm gonna set up some campaigns using placement ads on YouTube, and I'm just gonna be super productive tonight, and so that's maybe kind of almost what I did. So I go to the YouTubes, all right. And when you're creating a YouTube campaign, you can and you're using something cool like VidHoarder, you can get all of these videos, and when you're making your ad campaign in your YouTubes there, you can say, all right, just show my ad for all these videos, and you would paste them right here, all right? And so that's what I did in my mind, but it's not what I did in real life at all. So I pasted them in there, but I forgot to hit save because, like a dummy, I was creating ads in the middle of the night when, I wasn't fully awake. It had been a long day. I had no business creating ad campaigns in the middle of the night. But what are you going to do? So anyway, I didn't hit the save button, but I thought I did, right? So the campaign starts running, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, and it's running. And this is where, if I had set it up correctly, it would show this. It would show all of these videos. It'd be like, this is where your ad is running. It was running on all of these placements. But as you can see here, I just took the screenshot this morning. It didn't have any at all. And what that meant was that once again, I was running a campaign with zero targeting of any kind. Like nothing, with the exception of I was showing it to people in the United States that were between the ages of 35 and 55. That was it. And so I thought I was targeting people that were watching those videos, but I didn't hit save. So, unintentional experiment, right? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. But then I was like, dang, man, I thought this campaign was working. And the reason I thought the thing was working is because I was getting leads, right? And so this is my average cost per opt-in. Now, this was an ad campaign, and still is an ad campaign for ROAS.org. Incidentally, if you want us to do marketing for you and even remember to hit the save button, go to ROAS.org and watch the little video there. And if you want us to do it, then book a time. Now, another thing is you might be thinking, good Lord, dude, you're spending a lot of money per lead. And I am. And one of the reasons why is because I was deliberately targeting just people on desktops, with my logic being, well, they're probably paying attention, just screwing around. It's like in the middle of the night, So I'm like, wow, okay. So running the campaign here. And so the goal of the campaign is to get someone to register, and so that's what these guys are, right? And then if they watch the on-demand class and they book a call with us, they'll end up on a web page that's got thank you in it right here. So we ended up getting 6 people. And it turns out that, check this out, one of these folks actually ended up buying something. All right, so we have one client so far, and potentially 2 more. By the way, potential, we'll see. You can't count potentially, but this is a recurring revenue client, and so we ended up actually making money on this campaign, and we'll end up continuing to make money as long as this person remains a client. So once again, I think this really proves the point that, man, like we could lose all ability to target. And if you get the messaging right in your ads, you're still going to be okay. So the focus shouldn't be on, oh no, what if Facebook takes away all of our advanced targeting capabilities? The focus should be on, hey, see those guys behind Frank there? That's backwards in my camera. Anyway, that's David Ogilvy and Claude Hopkins back there. They never had any advanced targeting, and they sold $1 gazillion worth of stuff. What did they do? Well, I'll tell you what they did is they got the messaging right. They said the right stuff in the ad to get people to take action, which is what I did in this campaign. Even though it wasn't targeted at all, thought it was, right? Still got people to take action. And what's really amazing, now this is the 3rd time, okay? So just to really, there we go, sorry, hit the wrong button. Just to prove the point for the 3rd time in a row, I've also shown you in the past couple of videos where I did the same thing on Facebook. So here's a campaign. This was selling a course, like a little $4 thing with upsells right here. Spent $2,000, got back $2,500. 1.26 return on ad spend. Not too bad. So every dollar I put in, I got $1.26 out. Not too shabby. Here's another one. This was for an on-demand class selling a training. Spent $449. Got back almost $1,200. Every dollar I put in, I got back $2.57. Why? It's because I have magic powers. No, it's not. It's because of the messaging, right? So that's what I want to share with you. And the reason I've done all of this build up here is because I just want to prove the point that, dude, if you can just get the fundamentals down and not get all scared about the Apple update, which everything's going to be fine, by the way, then you're probably going to be okay. Because these dudes had to just advertise in the newspaper. They didn't have a whole lot of targeting. I mean, the closest targeting they had was, all right, we're selling menswear. Maybe we can put a print ad in a men's magazine. And that was the best they had, So I think we're going to be okay. All right. So anyway, let me show you what I would consider to be a relatively foolproof scripting framework for video ads. This is the framework that I use not only in the ad that I just showed you, or the campaign that I just showed you on YouTube, which is hysterical, but also in these guys right here. All right, so this is a super duper awesome, and that's a trademark term, framework. All right, so this is your ad, all right, and we're going to assume this is being done via video. All right, and for YouTube especially, this isn't as important on Facebook, but in your first 6 seconds, all right, so that little S stands for seconds. In your first 6 seconds, someone can skip the ad. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. In the first 6 seconds, they can't skip the ad, and after 6 seconds, they can. So rule number 1 when it comes to your YouTubes is you want to make it abundantly clear who the ad is for in those first 6 seconds. So if they want to skip it, they'll skip it. Right? YouTube is not the place for interesting pattern interrupt that holds their attention and they don't know what you're selling, because if they skip it, you don't get charged. So you really want to really call out to them. So what I like to do typically is tell them what it's about. So I just like to say, here's the benefit of watching this ad, So if I were to be scripting it off the cuff right now, I'd say something like, hey, in today's video, I'm going to show you why targeting and other stuff you might be worried about and your advertising really doesn't make any difference at all. All right, so I'm calling out to people who are advertising. If someone has no interest in advertising and they don't have a business, they wouldn't watch the video, So it's blam, right there. Another example would be hey, if you run ads for your business, you're going to want to watch this video because I'm going to show you why most of the stuff you've learned about advertising is totally wrong. Now, I would need to say that a little faster probably to get it in the first 6 seconds, but you get it. right? Cool. So onward to the next little part here. All right. So it's mainly, this is like benefit. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to seed the benefit a little bit. And by seeding the benefit is kind of like telling them what to expect. So for example, in mine, and I'm doing it by memory, I say something like, in this video, I'm going to be showing you the only 4 things that matter when it actually comes to getting customers from the internet using advertising. And interestingly enough, it has nothing to do with targeting, has nothing to do with what platform you're on, and it has really nothing to do with any of the stuff you might think that it is. So it's like a seed, or maybe even like a tease, right? And so this could be anywhere from like 10 to 30 seconds or whatever. Ideally, this little chunk right here, you want this to be within that first 30 seconds total, right? Or more accurately, within that first 30 seconds. Like, you want them to be able to skip. So within that first 30 seconds, like, you really, on YouTube especially, you want to be able to get out of there if they don't like it, so you don't end up paying for the view. All right, so that's like our first little chunk there. And the same is applicable to Facebook. The only real difference is you don't care as much whether or not they skip. However, it does matter in a retargeting environment, which, if I remember, I'll explain to you in a second. Let's go back to the little framework, though. Okay, so here we go. The next part I like to do is BPC, which happens to be a very helpful peptide. I think that's the code for it there. But also in this particular case, it stands for big picture content. And this is a big deal. All right. I've always believed, in my experience, which dates back now to October of 1999, which is like 7 billion internet years, if we can create a campaign that actually benefits the viewer of the campaign and actually helps them in some way, it makes everything that happens after the click work better, right? So, like, I call it the oldest trick in the book. You guys who have followed me for a while, you've heard me joke around about this a million times. It's like, this is how we get them. We use the oldest trick in the book, which is to demonstrate we can help people by actually helping them trick. So in this case, I like to do the big picture content, but there's a little tweak, okay? And the little tweak is, right before I do it, I'll do a call to action, okay? And this is especially important for YouTube. Not as much as Facebook, but especially as important for YouTube. And what this means is let's say I'm in the seed section. All right, so my first 6 seconds right here. So I'll kind of start from the top. Hey, if you use the internet to get customers from advertising, you're really going to watch this video because most of everything you've ever learned about advertising is wrong. In today's video, I'm going to show you the 4 main things it takes for any internet business to get more customers and scale sustainably and consistently. And it has nothing to do with targeting or what platform you're on or anything like that. Okay, so I just seeded. All right, I haven't segued over to my big picture content yet. But what I want to do beforehand, right after the seed, is I want to say something along the lines of, okay, look, in this video, I'm going to give you the big picture 30,000 foot view of these 4 core concepts. If you want to take a deeper dive, click the link somewhere near this video. You can register for an on-demand training. In that on-demand training, I take you on a much deeper dive of these 4 concepts. I know I've interrupted what you're doing right now. I know you're busy, so I'm just going to give you the big picture right now. But if you like what you're watching and you want to go deeper, just register for the on-demand training, and it's free, and you'll love it. So I'm kind of pitching the click here, right? And so, you have to be obnoxious. I'm just kind of telling them what to do because, it's the internet and people are easily distracted, right? So anyway, back to the thing. So now you give them the big picture content. This needs to be usable. It needs to be easy to understand. It needs to be something that doesn't bog them down. It needs to be not boring. It needs to be genuinely helpful, and it needs to have them wanting more, okay? And so this could be from, 60 seconds to, 4 minutes. It's up to you, Mine are the ads that are in that particular campaign that I thought was running, the way that I thought it was, but it turns out it was running to total strangers. Those are 7-minute videos, and this is mostly content, right? So the final part of this thing is we now do another call to action, right? And in this call to action, we tell them what to do again, but I also like to reassure them. All right, so I'll just kind of do RA here. And handle objections in advance and tell them what's next, right? So I might say something like, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you found it helpful. And again, if you want to take a deeper dive and really get these core concepts and see better examples of them, please click the video somewhere near this. Please click the button somewhere near this video, and you can register for my on-demand training. All right, so that's me telling them what to do next. And now what I want to do is I want to reassure them and overcome objections. So if you're someone who's used to webinar ads, right, and you're used to like webinars being put on by internet marketers, what are you tired of? You're tired of big long sales pitches. You're tired of webinars that are all about the person giving the webinar and they have no content. You're tired of like the webinar where they're pretending to be live when everybody knows it's not live, right? So what I want to do in this particular case is reassure them that that's not going to happen. So I'll say something like, hey, by the way, when you register for this thing, it's an on-demand class. You can watch it as many times as you want. You don't have to wait. It's not one of those fake webinars where we pretend it's live. It also doesn't take forever, and I'm not going to tell you my life story in this thing. Furthermore, nobody's going to call you on the phone or pester you or anything like that. As a matter of fact, there's nothing for sale in the webinar. My hope is you'll find it valuable, and you'll reach out to us and you'll ask us about working together in a client relationship. So go ahead and click on this link right now and get registered for the on-demand class. I'm like trying to think about being on camera while I'm being on camera, and it's messing me up. But you know what I mean, right? So it's important, in my opinion, that if you're talking to a market that has a yeah, but, and their natural stance is going to be like this, which our market, like the marketing market, is for good reason, that you need to explain to them, all right, here's what your experience is going to be like, and everything is going to be cool, and that's it, right? And so that's essentially, if we go back here, that's essentially the magic formula. This is extremely important. So what this does, like if we break down these elements, this grabs the attention, right? And they're like, so you immediately got them. All right, if you're running ads on the internet, I'm going to show you why most everything you're doing is wrong. Boom. 6 seconds, grab their attention, talking to people who are running ads on the internet. And then the 10 to 30 seconds, we're just going to hold their attention and sort of whet the appetite to watch the rest. All right, in this video, I'm going to show you 4 things, yada, 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 yada. All right, then our call to action is non-threatening, it's super friendly, it's kind of logical, which is like, hey, this is an ad. I'm not going to take forever. I know I interrupted you, especially in a YouTube format, right? It's not like they Google ads about marketing, I mean, they're trying to watch a cat video or something, up comes me. God, that would be horrible. Both of those things sound unpleasant, So, like, I know I interrupted you, so, like, this video is going to give you big picture information. If you want to take a deeper dive, here's what to do. So you get your call to action in there. And then this is just literally you being cool and actually helping people and just demonstrating the goodwill. And then we tell them what to do again, and this is really important. You reassure them, you overcome any potential objections they might have, and you tell them what's going to happen next, right? And that's it. It works really, really well. Mine were shot just direct to camera like this. I think it was the same view, so nothing fancy, and we got leads, and it even made us money. So my position is, and my advice to you is not, hey, don't do any targeting ever. That's not what I'm telling you. The reason I'm illustrating this stuff about targeting and running campaigns with no targeting of any kind is to show you how important the messaging is. All right. If you get your messaging right, that's the single most important thing you can do in the ad. Now, obviously, we wouldn't want to say, okay, I have the perfect message about steak, and then we go show it to a bunch of vegans. Like, clearly that's not going to work, so that's obvious. But as a general rule, messaging, most important when you're going out with ads. All right, so I hope you found this helpful. If you want me and my company to do your marketing for you, go to roas.org. There might be a link, hopefully, near this video, and watch this incredibly nice and professionally shot video here it is, on our website here, where I look like, a purple guy who's trying to recruit you into either some kind of a cult or a biker gang or something. But nonetheless, ignore all of that part. Book a call with our office, and if we can help you, we'll tell you how. And thanks so much for watching this, and I hope you found it useful. And I'll talk to you later. Take it easy.